We'll have to see what will come of this match as well. Where will the Pom Sheeps go? How well will the Rogues play? And how well will the Majors? Because this is SK's time to shine. They are at match point here at the Global Finals as the gates open for round 4. Following DK from the beginning, HON are going to be in your top left. SK Gaming will be in the top right. DK has been playing rather aggressive. They want him to play more defensive, avoids the blizzard. Does get a sap. That sap's going to be on the mage and gets away cleanly this time. DK has been caught out of stealth many a times, and in comes his team to go offensive. HON look like they got the opener they've been wanting. They get onto the Preta for Yugi quite aggressively. Jay Walker is actually caught into a cheap shot as they had him controlled, and there's a lot of pressure, although onto Yugi. But there we go, there comes the pressure finally. He drops down to half HP. In comes a Holy Fire. There comes a Garrote as well, and DK looks like he's sheeped through Cloaker's shadows there, and finally gets back almost onto his target. So great job by Koana to control. Hyugi's dropped down to half HP. Jay Walker now going to open up, and there comes an early pain suppression onto DK. Caught into a full kidney. In comes a rupture. Jay Walker from SK is in a blind. HON have a little bit of time to breathe. They have another chance to get a kill onto SK. Let's see if they can do it. Rogue versus Rogue into the center. Still following DK from HON. Is going to reopen. Jay Walker slightly under pressure on health. Is caught into a kidney, and he's actually going to trinket out of that and go back onto the Rogue. So SK Gaming elongating this fight by a lot.
And DK using his dismantle there again. It's back up. Walker should be back up soon. DK used it defensively earlier to mitigate Walker's damage.
And this could be bad as DK drops low, and number one can only throw one hill, and there comes the kill. There could be a cross kill. They need the cross kill. They get the cross kill, and this is a 2-on-2. And SK Gaming almost walked away with the victory, killing DK. But look at this, Koana being completely targeted. Number one has, a poly. There is a poly onto Hyugi. Finally some heals, and Koana needs to back off very, very defensively. But the mana is in favor on the priest over for Hyugi, but not anymore. They are all evened up, all level pegging here on this 2v2. And if Hyugi and Koana can take the kill, they will be champions. But HON only just missed out on the kill, and they could go for it again. And it actually looks like they're going to go for the priest. Koana was improved counterspelled. He is going to be nuking number one as well. Number one is completely needs to get out of this situation following number one from HON. Pet up for Hyugi. It looks like SK Gaming could take this. It looks like they could pass victory and beat HON against almost all odds as far as every professional player was concerned here. And number one finally gets a sheep. That's going to be instantly trinketed, goes up to 600 mana. And what's going to be the difference here?
Quana's Evocate is going to be crippling here for HON. He's got his cooldowns back up. He already blew Palm. He's got AP. Hasn't been as lucky with his clear cast procs as Orange Marmalade has, but Orange Marmalade is now in a position to drink.
Because look at this, there's absolutely no mana on the team. Number one's caught in the fair, and he is going to drop. And SK Gaming are going to take this. They're going to take victory. They're going to claim the 30,000. It's only Orange Marmalade to fight to the end. And he is going to run it out. He doesn't want to leave this finals. He can't believe that they've lost. They've come so far from the lower bracket. They almost claimed victory. They tied it up at one apiece. He is going to run away, and in comes the final abilities, the final kills that they need to claim victory. And SK Gaming, despite having to fight against a very resilient Orange Marmalade, are going to be the champions, are going to be your winners. But look at a counter kill.
This is incredible.
Oh my God.
Quana got way too aggressive, got in there. Orange Marmalade blew all of his cooldowns. He had the mana, he got a clear cast barrage proc.
I've never been so impressed. Orange Marmalade turned that on its head. SK Gaming were playing like they won. They went in and were like, this guy, he's just messing with us. He's literally just playing with our feelings. He's only doing this to annoy us, to stop us walking over that finish line. But in actual fact, Orange Marmalade from HON could pull out the best victory that has ever been seen at a tournament, but not only that, to save his team, to give them another chance to win. And so far, this Mage versus Priest, despite having to stop the resurrections, Who's your money on?
Look at this Dispel blocking. He threw up Fire Ward, useless, except when you're trying to avoid getting dispelled. Blue is Evocate. He's got his Mana Shield back up, evocating. He's going to have min-max damage here against Hyogi's bare minimum cooldowns. I'm about to switch over and see what he's got. He's going for a res halfway through, knows he's not going to get it. He's just trying to force Orange Marmalade's hand to try to get him over here, get him into a pressure situation. Hyogi's at a huge advantage here. Disc Priests are a huge pain for mages in Ruins because the line of sight is about like it is in sewers. You just don't want to deal with it. Your target is out of line of sight so very often, and I really can't say it any other way than it sucks. It is the worst situation to be in a 1v1 when line of sight is what's killing you, not skill. Orange Marmalade here, going to get back everything. Sheep's off DR. He's got another win in there. And I'll tell you what went wrong here is that Han didn't take the opportunity they had when Hyogi was feared into a poly earlier on Quana back in the 2v2 started. Quana should have been dead there, but it just didn't fall in their favor. The cards weren't there for them. And now Quana playing super aggressive, getting there on Orange Marmalade with his back to the corner, cooldowns up, clear cast, Missile Barrage proc. I mean, that's massive damage. I don't see if he had AP up or not, but if he did, you're talking about 3k crits per tick. Quana dipped from 60 to 0 on a channeled spell through a wall. Yeah. Gotta love it. Hyogi's pressured real big here. You see another barrage proc. Constant pressure coming out of Orange Marmalade. This is his play style. Arcane pressure.
Yeah, I mean, Orange Marmalade from HON is going to drop that pressure as heavy as he can onto Hyogi. As soon as he gets him down to half HP, there is a chance to get a big kill. Obviously, we do have some cooldowns that will save Hyogi. There is obviously going to be Desperate Prayer up. He just used his trinket to get a cheeky mana burn off. He's got 1 minute on his pet if he needs to get mana. But now Orange Marmalade will reset and try and drink. He doesn't want to go too far away from the situation. He didn't want to let Hyogi go for a res, so instead he's going to blink out and sheep. After the sheep, now he's going to try and drink. Hyogi getting a little bit closer. In comes a full Evocate. So now mana back on in favor of Orange Marmalade. Gonna get that poly, not before he got mana burnt though. In comes an Arcane Blast. Poly's gonna come off. He is gonna actually invis that mana burn, so he won't get hit. So at the moment, both of these guys playing this absolutely flawlessly. But you've got a feeling that Orange Marmalade is possibly still grinning from that previous kill, even though you can see him on your screen there. That's Orange Marmalade in the right-hand side.
This is it. AP, IV. This is his opportunity to kill. He's got PS up, though. Look at the damage. Even through PS, he's up down to half. He blew MI. I disagree with his positioning on MI, but whatever. It's Orange Marmalade. Who am I to say? He's still got his cooldowns. He's got to do a lot of work here. PS is down. He needs to start interrupting some of those burns if he can, or he's going to pay for it. I know you want to save your CS for the heals, Orange, but come on. You're not going to win this with 0 mana. The Discipline Police does have a noticeable advantage, and we're seeing it here. There's the gem. There's the two-piece proc, and this is good. He's got him in a silence, slowed. He's got good line of sight. He's keeping pressure on him. His MI is down, so he doesn't have that auto slow from the bolt, and he doesn't have that little extra damage from like the 300 damage bolts and the 400 damage fire blast, but it doesn't matter. He's drinking whenever he can. I've never seen anybody use Invis to drink for a tick.
I mean, he's just playing so fantastic, the Orange Marmalade. There's a nice Shadow Word Death. That's going to keep Hyogi out of that poly. And he goes back into a second one, though. That will come off soon. Slow is on him. In comes the Arcane Barrage. In comes the Mana Burn.
There we go.
He's going to be counterspelled. And, well, here comes the damage onto Hyogi. He knows he can probably get him down to half HP now. He has to channel that Greater Heal just to get some health up. He can't afford to go down low versus Orange Marmalade. Orange Marmalade will blink away from the fight and is probably going to want to drink again. And his gem won't be up for another 2 seconds, but that's not going to bother him too much. And now Hyogi from SK Asia, let me remind you, they are winning this 2-1. If he does manage to take this 1-on-1, he will claim victory. Orange Marmalade did tie us up as far as players alive. He has got a gem available. He doesn't want to use it now. I think he really wants to...
He needs a reset. His Evocation should be back up here very shortly. He's playing Arcane. He's got
trying to avoid the fears.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's got a blink up soon. There comes a Frost Nova. In comes a Poly. And that's going to give him a little bit of time to breathe, but he is going to be trinketed off. And Orange Marmalade is ticking damage. He's got 1 dot. There comes the Shadow of Death. He's down to 2,000. In comes the Evocate. 1 tick. In comes the Fear. And this could be the end. There comes a nice Ice Block. And he's not going to waste mana on Master Spell because he wouldn't have been able to. And this is going to be an insta-poly with a Pom. In comes a First Aid. And Orange Marmalade surviving amazingly. And Hyogi despite his best efforts, is trying to get the kill, but he's got to be scared about overextending himself, because if he does overextend himself on mana, he could die. And now comes the... This is his chance.
This is the gem. You see the gem, AP and Icy Veins. He's going in. Pain Suppression just came back up for Hyogi. Awesome timing for him. Not so awesome for Orange Marmalade. Orange is going to sheep him through that PS, and here we go. He's going to possibly try to get a reopener. Actually, he's going to invis, get away, and drink.
Yeah, he is going to invis and drink. He's going to be seeing, going to poly, almost poly. And remind you, we're playing a healer versus a DPS class. Excellent Blink is going to avoid that mana burn. If Orange Marmalade gets hit by too many mana burns, he will be out of mana, which potentially means he won't be able to do anything. He won't be able to poly, which is a control. He won't be able to do damage. Coming. And he won't be able to survive. In comes a res. That's going to be stopped by an improved counterspell. In comes a poly. That's going to be line of sighted. There's an arcane barrage. Here comes the mana burns that we're talking about. He hits one mana burn, almost hits a second, but not too much done there in that situation. Still looking, and Orange Marmalade seems to be playing with Hyogi, and I don't know what this priest can do to control this mage, because he is uncontrollable now and uncontrollable in skill.
I agree with him there, using the CS to stop the Power Word Death, or Shadow Word Death, so you don't have to fake your sheep, because, well, it's a waste of time. Whenever you can just silence and go for it, and your CS will probably be back up later. If you're going for a reset, this is a pretty bad opportunity. Oh, wow, Orange burns AP when he's out of mana. I don't think he's got Evocate back up yet.
His gem's ready again, though, unless he's just run out of him, because obviously you conjure free, and it costs a lot to conjure. And Hyogi knows he had a little bit of an advantage there. Is going to chase, but now if he got improved counterspell, could have been put into a poly. Orange Marmalade has good distance. In comes another Evocate. Every time this ticks, this is going to give Orange Marmalade health and mana. And let me remind you, there is a cap. There is a cap on a time limit of the matches. So if it goes on for 25 minutes in total, the one who does the most damage wins. And this is where Orange Marmalade will try and do a lot of damage.
Yeah, this is what he's been waiting for. PS is down. He's got mana. He doesn't have any cooldowns, but he's got that 2-piece bonus. He's pumping damage on Hyogi's back. Hyogi's got nothing to do but burn line of sight tricks. MI's back up. This is a good opportunity for him to do some damage, but Hyogi's just playing better line of sight.
And if you're wondering why, by the way, there's 4 Orange Marmalades, it's because he used Mirror Image, the ability of a mage to spawn 3 more of you. And look at this now. This is dangerous. Hyogi goes down to no mana whatsoever. He's having to first aid himself. Pain Suppression is up, but also Orange Marmalade is out of mana. He won't be able to get a kill unless he gets mana. He is going to be drinking, which will regenerate mana slowly. You can see he's back up to 3k. But also because Orange Marmalade had to drink, Hyogi from SK Gaming managed to drink up to 2,000 as well. So still, he might be able to stay alive. And Orange Marmalade, I mean, do you think Hyogi should be sticking up dots? Do you think he should be constantly dotting Orange Marmalade? Or do you think Evocate, on its timer is going to completely nullify that situation?
Well, Orange knows that he can use a defensive block to clear dots. If Hyogi overextends himself and burns too much mana on it, there's the MCS poly reset. We just saw him use Invis. I think he should have saved it for here so he could just poly, Invis, drink, and eat, and get a longer tick rate. Honestly, he had 2 good opportunities here. This is just extremely frustrating for Orange. There's the res coming.
And actually, this res, unless he times his blink well, might have almost gone off.
Yeah.
About a second and a half later, we could have had another player enter the arena. Orange Marmalade did drink up. Hyogi didn't choose to drink in that situation, but still his regens with all his spirit up to 4k. And Orange Marmalade, he really needs to come in with a lot more mana than he's got. He can't kill Hyogi in 1 round of bursts. It's just not possible. But every time he tries to go away and drink, Hyogi is going to try and resurrect this guy. So Orange Marmalade constantly has to come back in and interrupt it. When he comes back in, Hyogi is going to try and burn off the mana from Orange Marmalade. Orange Marmalade will try and poly. He's going to try and do a little bit of damage now. He's going to use his mana gem. So here we go. Mana gem up. He's got a lot of mana to play with, but still needs to do a lot more damage and needs to catch. Actually, here we go. This is an Evocate. This will regen his health and mana. So Orange Marmalade is basically ready to rumble. He's at 100% on both.
If I'm not mistaken, Orange was trying to count in his head, possibly when Hyogi's PS was up. He was trying to force a PS there so he could safely evocate while Hyogi got away and played defensively. I'm not really sure why he played it the way he did, but Hyogi's PS is coming up soon, and that's going to spell trouble for Orange, because even though his cooldowns are up faster, he's just going to have to wait for the perfect opportunity. And every time Hyogi gets that PS off, he's going to get it off the right time. You're not playing some scrub priest, obviously. You're just not going to be able to kill him through that. It's just not in the cards. So Orange is playing this well, but he needs to have slightly better timing and execution. He needs to try to catch Hyogi out of position, or try to maybe bait him out of position with a too close evocate, and maybe bait the fear into a sheep where he can AP, IV, and then really start pumping damage.
Yeah. Obviously, trinkets are available for both. They are very going to be concerned about fears. Certainly, Orange Marmalade. He will have Ice Block up as well. In comes another second Shadow Word Death on that poly. And the only thing you got to think about here is that if this goes on forever, there will be an end, hopefully, called by the admins. The winner will be decided by damage. And that winner will be HON. If HON win by default, that means that we will be tied up at 2 each, meaning that it will be match point for the grand finals for both of these players. In comes a Resurrect. Never going to get it off. In fact, he's taking that moment to drink and then interrupt just to get an extra tick off. In comes a Mana Burn. Going to be counterspelled. Hyogi can't now cast spells. And honestly, I think Hyogi's playing... I think he's scared and doesn't think he can get a kill, and he just wants to stay alive. He is going to go for all the Mana Burns, but in all fairness, I don't think SK know. I don't think SK realize that if they don't do more damage over the course of 25 minutes, they will lose this.
Blink's doing two very important things for Orange here. I just watched him waste a Blink, in my opinion. He's blinking to line of sight Mana Burn, but also improved Blink has a 30% miss rate on Hyogi's spell, so you could technically miss to buy a Mana Burn, which is pretty awesome. So that's why he's been using it just basically every time it's on cooldown, because why not? Who likes getting hit by spells? There's this Palm Fireball again. This is one thing about this guy. I don't see him use Palm Fireball in a DPS rotation. He usually opens with it and then AP IVs, which you have to do due to the arcane nerfs. But I don't know. I kind of expected it to be more of a... possibly more of a late pressure thing when he's got him running line of sight low. Instead, he's opening with it, and he's kind of sacrificing some late burst when he's out of his AP and he can palm again.
Yeah, so, still, though, you've got to think, though, Luke, even if, like, this goes to a rematch, or if HON, get the win on damage, Orange Marmalade is basically saved HON from losing this grand finals, because they should win this, even not by a kill by default. And it was a 2-on-1, and Orange Marmalade save it for HON. And I'm going to have to... I mean, the admins have a timer. You can see Dead Koana there. There's a poly to Hyogi playing Priest for SK Gaming, and Orange Marmalade will go back into the starting area.
I feel bad for Orange because I've been in this situation in twos before. It's happened, and it's really, really hard to play perfectly. You might win, but it might be ugly, and you might not play well enough, and you might lose. But playing perfectly, I don't even think it's an option, because Disc Priests have so much line-of-sight power, almost more so than Druids, in my opinion.
Yeah, they do. Disc Priests are very, very... I mean, if you can constantly line of sight, you won't die. And I mean, a good mage, if he overextends himself and makes mistakes, you can follow up later with a kill. But Orange Marmalade is probably the best mage we've seen here. In comes another attempt to win the round, and in comes Orange Marmalade to say no. Once again, the polys and the Mana Burns exchange.
If Orange knows that this will go to a default win if he drags it out, that has to be what he's doing. He's got the mana advantage every time. He's got quicker evocates, he's got 2-minute evocates, and he can summon some more gems when he gets a little bit more mana, because I think he might be out. I haven't been counting how many he's been using, but I know he's already summoned once. Here's AP IV again to do a little bit more damage. Finally, a lucky clear cast proc. There we go.
It is going to be then taken maybe to another. We have to see, but HON maybe would have claimed that on victory. I want to get confirmation from the admins that it is 2 apiece, or it's either going to be a rematch. I'm sure there's a lot to talk about on stage, but certainly HON has saved SK, saved his team from SK Gaming winning this.